wise to just do school and finish. You can even go up to 25 without getting married because you're busy with something. But our elders now, they do not understand that, because back in the day, ladies are not supposed to go to school up to that extent.
Also, God's time is always the best, but we fail to accept that there are some people who are not going to get married. It's not all of us who are going to.
If it's conservative,
if you're looking for something liberal
and realistic, this is the place to be.
Hello and welcome to the podcast by the youth for the youth. And today we are looking at a quite sensitive topic, but very crucial. We are talking about drugs. Let's talk about drugs. And to this side, I have Tanaka, and Tanaka, that makes Tanaka sweat. And then I have Vimbai. So today we're going to break it down and let's talk about drugs. Firstly, let's define drugs. What exactly are drugs? I'm going to allow Vimbai to explain to us, in her perspective, what are drugs?
I think drugs are a substance used to treat an illness.
Okay, that is quite straight to the point. All right, and Tanaka, what do you think?
Drugs, it's a substance. It's a substance that is a physiological effect when ingested or introduced in a body. Yes, so if we look at the word effect, it means there are two sides to it. It could be negative, it could be positive, depending on how you use it. I think that's my submission.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing that aspect, because when you hear about drugs, you just run to the negative side, not necessarily considering that we actually need drugs. Like when you're sick, you use drugs. So today, let me reiterate what I was saying. Today we're talking about substance abuse, drug abuse. So when we're talking about drug abuse, what are we saying exactly? Tanaka?
I think as what Vimbai and Tanaka have highlighted, it's when you then use it for an intended purpose to harm yourself, then becomes the problem in its own self. She talked about healing, but he also talked about effects, which is the positive and the negative. You notice that when you're having coffee syrup, you're also told a dosage for a child, a dosage for an adult. And you're also told that if you then oversurpass this dosage, now you're harming yourself now. So I think that's when we start having that definition of abuse now coming into play.
All right, okay. So why are people doing this? But let me just say, you find that drugs on their own, they have side effects, right? So when we're abusing them, are we like going over the line? Yes, I understand there are certain measurements per each drug, right? So when we are having them, they already have side effects. I mean, they are drugs, they have certain effects. So what are we saying exactly? Should people take drugs? Or I've often heard that there are certain people who believe in no drugs at all. Yeah, some are herbalists and all that. So are they okay? Are drugs okay?
Well, drugs on their own are fine, because from the definition, they're used to treat an illness or to make your body function in a normal way. The misuse of drugs is now what's wrong. If you take something in its normal proportion, that's correct. But it's going to do what it's supposed to do in your body. The overdose of that is going to do an extra thing that is not supposed to be part of your body. So the misuse of drugs is what's wrong. But taking drugs is absolutely okay.
Okay, I would like to add on to that. Drugs originally, they were introduced for health reasons, like to cure illnesses and stuff. And I believe the four of us on this panel, we're all Adventists and we believe in the health message. And one of the main pillars of the health message touches on temperance. Mm-hmm. Temperance meaning we should do things in limited quantities, if I might say. So the moment you overdo something, even if it's good for you, it will harm you. Yeah. If you over-exercise, you harm your heart. If you drink 7 liters of water per day, it will affect your kidneys. Even though water is good for you. And And I remember when we were growing up, there was an advert for discipline painkillers, and they would say you should not take them for 10 consecutive days without consulting the doctor. You get it? So that was the limit for the discipline. If you did that, then you're now harming yourself. So drugs per se, they are not bad because they are prescribed quantities. The doctor might say 10 meals per day. That's good for you for that specific period. 5 mg per day. That's good for you for that specific period. But now if you go over the limit, now the problem starts.
Okay. Thank you. So we are saying drugs are okay. So whilst you were mentioning this point, I was just thinking, so you're saying, for example, cocaine is okay. Let's say to our viewers who are watching, what are we saying? Cocaine is okay? Are we saying marijuana is okay? Or there are certain drugs that are really a no-no. So let's get into it. Certain examples. What are you saying? Yeah, Taneka.
Abarundi Seta. But from my understanding of these drugs, you talked about marijuana and stuff. There are other cultures that use marijuana for health purposes. Healing purposes, actually. And I wouldn't want to state this out because I don't really know much about issues of cocaine. But what I do understand is everything of those substances have a certain reason why they were there. And in their actual motive is to heal and help. Yes. So it's now the issue, like what he is saying, that when we then push the lead over the healing part of it, then becomes our problem. So the issue is drugs are okay, but when we just now push the limit over above, I had an opportunity to see some of my friends watching Bronco. And when it's coffee syrup. Yeah. And I would take coffee syrup, it's okay. Yeah. And I was actually looking at it and I was surprised. This is just the same coffee syrup I take when I'm not feeling okay. Mm-hmm. But them taking that whole bottle now, the effects of it just tells you that they've oversurpassed the limit. So the drug is good. But then when you then over limit the thing, if you push it over above what you're supposed to be prescribed for it, then becomes the issue. So yeah, marijuana, cocaine, and etc. created for the right purposes, done for the right purposes, but if you take it on the right quantities that you're supposed to be taking it, you're okay. Over above that, then becomes quite a big issue.
Yes. Okay, thank you. You managed to trace your way out. But I don't know, Tanaka.
I also want to add something. Yeah, I believe where there's something good, there's something bad as well.
Yeah.
What do I mean? Someone sat down and invented drugs for purposes of health. And then someone sits down as well and created drugs for, I would say, ecstasy.
Yeah.
You get it? So now, the moment we start taking drugs to feel some type of way, now that's wrong.
Yeah.
Fun fact, most people, they get lung cancer from tobacco than from marijuana.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here to verify.
Yeah. And this is not proven. I think it's a myth, but I read about it. In Jamaica, it's one of the countries with a larger population taking marijuana, and they're also one of the nations with less people who are diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
You get it? Mm-hmm. So now we move on to cocaine. Why was it introduced? Why was it manufactured? Was it for health reasons, or was it for you to get high and feel some type of way? So if we use that yardstick on certain drugs, we can see if they are good for us or they are not good for us.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so what are we saying? We're saying too much of everything is wrong. We are saying the drugs were made for the healing purposes. However, there's a counter to it, right? Where somebody or people are now using it for wrong reasons. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about: drug abuse and substance abuse, right? Mm-hmm. So, whilst you were talking, I was thinking about drugs in general. Are they rampant in church? Are they people abusing drugs in church? Or is it more in the communities out there? It's not. What can we say about drugs in church? What do you think, Vimbai?
Well, I think the community is made up of people, and some of the people are from the church. So yeah, people in the church are taking drugs, and it's so sad, but
wait, let me hold true. That sounds funny. People in the church are taking drugs for healing purposes.
No. They're doing drug abuse.
Okay.
Yeah, they're taking drugs for the wrong reasons.
Like amongst the people, particularly, we're talking about young people.
Young people, yeah.
Being involved in drugs.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it happening, or people are concealing it, or it's something that is not so visible. What's going on? Yeah, Tanaka.
I think my take is it's not a cool form of way. I think we've grown up, for us, if we've grown up in the SDA arena or even in the Christendom, drugs are not cool. Let's be honest. And due to the fact they're not cool, you don't want to show people that this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you tend to find ways in which you can hide that thing. But before I go that way, I also want to highlight the fact that we are all, what can I say? We're all faced with this issue called drug abuse because all of us take drugs one way or another.
Yes.
So it's not, we're just not saying that drug abuse or it's just prevalent. Even us. So community, yes. Church, yes. Every one of us, yes. But then, as I said, what are you using it for then becomes the issue. Mm-hmm. Because some drugs numb pain. Mm-hmm. And I'm told that 2 are okay. And my doctor says 2 Tanaka are fine. There I'm in church and I'm like, but this pain is too much. I can't take it. 2 can't be okay. Let me take 4. Auntie, I sleep, I wake up, I still feel that other pain. I'm like, let me take 6 now. And as you go down the train and the line, it becomes 10. And then from 10 now, I can't function now. Now it becomes abuse. I'm going and I'm going and I'm going. So it's, what we're just trying to highlight is to say, akuna class this is not us. We all of us, we are there in that podium of it. It's just then question of use then becomes the issue. That's one of the things that I feel quite critical also.
All right. So when you take the drugs above the limit, whether you are in church, in your community, that's drug abuse. And we're coming in to say no to drug abuse. And whilst he was saying, I don't know if you still have something to add on, Tanaka. I just thought of something. How do you see that this person is indulging in drug abuse? In church, outside church, wherever? How can you point out to say, Rose here is indulging in drug abuse? How do you know?
Yeah, I think the sad thing about drugs is the moment we start seeing visible signs on you, it's already a case beyond redemption, if I might say. Yeah, like some people you see they start losing weight. Some people you see red eyes like me, but I'm sober.
Suspect.
But I'm sober, yeah. But the moment we start seeing the effects of drugs on Tanaka or on me or on Wimbai, then that case it's beyond.
You see, you're talking about being seen. That's what I was driving at to say. So you shouldn't be seen. Are you saying, because some drugs, people have a way of hiding it out. I mean, for us young ladies, you're out there, you found a brother in church, he looks steady and calm, and lo and behold, brother does drugs. How can you help somebody identify, not for the sake of stigma, but how can you help someone point out to say, this one, is it only at a serious level? Or there's a start to it, you can just see that this person is into drugs?
I believe every drug has its own effects. When someone is taking cocaine, you might see them by their restlessness, or maybe they're blinking too much, or maybe they're moving their fingers too much. So you need to know the effects of drugs for you to be able to see what type of drug they are taking. That's another thing. Then the second thing is there's an issue of change in behavior. Well, drugs, they make you mentally unstable. Like, we have a lot of people that are in the streets, some of them are taking drugs in the wrong way, and it plays with your mind. So we can see in change of behavior, this one is definitely doing something dodgy.
Yeah, yeah, Tanaka.
We're not going to refuse the fact that there are people watch master game. You get what I'm trying to say? Who can stand on the pulpit and preach and you will not even catch it.
Yes.
You get what I'm trying to say? They now know what to take, how to take it. If it's going to be chewing gum, they know which chewing gum does which job and cleans they know. So I'm not going to refuse that. But one thing I've also come to understand is for those that are close to the next person, you can still tell behavior. You know, if it's, say it's your girlfriend, panika behavior, you can just start telling something is
off. Yeah.
chewing gum. Serious. You get what I'm trying to say? And what it's advocating to us is, as youth, that relationship is quite important.
Yeah.
Me having to take time to also look at Tanaka and say, yeah, Tanaka read, but this time, pan is requitic. And pan can go a shake so. And every time I know that Tanaka and it is he's pushing me away, or he doesn't want me to be around. Yeah. So you find it is visible, you can see, but I think it also takes that kind of delicacy in focusing on the people itself, your friends and stuff. It's unfortunate that the reason why I think it's very much hard for us to see these things is we kind of like, I was talking to someone yesterday and I was saying that I know you from Instagram and I like your pictures, but I don't even talk to you. And that's how we are now in relationships and even in friendships. To not go to yes. But I know the square during the weekend. So it becomes easier for you to hide it because it's just one day Sabbath. You just have to cover your sins. So I think it is visible, but I also think that it now takes us an extra effort of making sure we pay attention to our brothers and sisters. Very much. That's my view about it.
We're getting some powerful insights right here. And so you should check on your brother, check on your sister. You know, why are people indulging into drugs? Exactly. It's so sad when you look around society. Someone who had great potential, the potential dies down. Because like what you said, different types of drugs have certain effects, right? And abuse, we're coming together to say with one voice, the moment you are using drugs and abusing them, it definitely has effects. It's going to affect you. So please stop. Why are people not stopping? Why? What's happening? Right, Tanaka? You've seen it around your friends or some people who are into drugs. Why aren't they stopping? Why did they even get into this?
Yeah, I think we have to all agree to the fact that the people who are, I would say, supplying the drugs are the rich people, and they control the entertainment industry. You know, it's funny how nowadays it's cool for someone to be seen on TV or in the streets, like smoking marijuana. But back in the day when I was growing up, even to be caught trying to imitate smoking that was sham. You see, it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool at all. Like back in the day, even tattoos, they were not cool. But now, because of what is being portrayed on the TV and stuff, it seems cool. You see, like Snoop Dogg, he smokes everywhere. Wiz Khalifa, he smokes everywhere. And here in Zimbabwe, we've got a very good example One person, I won't mention the name, who was a prominent Zim dancer artist who used drugs was given a hero status in saying that he was inspiring the youth to do what?
So we're saying influences from the media.
From the media, yes.
At
We
most,
we have to be very careful as to what we watch and what we consume, because at the end of the day, it changes you whether you know it or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could be watching something and ultimately you see it as something fine. Let me just go ahead and try a sip of this and that. Let me try smoking this. So we're saying media. Are we agreeing, or is there any addition to it about media?
Like you might not even try it, but I would see Tanaka smoking marijuana and I would say, no, that's his baby. Because I'm being portrayed. I'm being shown that it's cool. It's cool to do that. So Tanaka smoking marijuana doesn't affect me. It's cool. But if I've got the same mindset that our parents had, I would call Tanaka by the side and say, bro, you're killing yourself.
So what are the causes? Why are people indulging into drugs? And besides that, why are they not stopping?
Okay, as much as this is an option for others, a choice, to others it is not. There's a girl I saw recently, I think she's in grade 4 or grade 5. She was very young and she was seated amongst a lot of guys and very old guys. And she was smoking shisha. And she even knew how to do it because she would shake the thing, close the bottom and, like puff in and puff out as if she knew everything. She was, I think, in grade 5, which is 9 or 10 years old.
Oh dear.
So it's not an option to her, but maybe she's seeing others who are doing it and it becomes, those people become her role model. So to others, it's like they are doing it because someone is doing it. And like Tanaka has said that long back, waituka wanikoka bata kajanga ke forge ka wairo wachamkumsana. And maybe now it's because our parents have become so soft on us that when they see us doing that, they just say, "Sha, see ya," and then that's it. There is no form of discipline that is saying, if I see you with this, you are dead. Long back, they will tell you, "Uga pinamba na 6, usadzoke." So we'd go home with the fear of being thrown away because you have nowhere to go. But now it's like we have a lot of options. If my mother sends me away from her house, I'll go to my father's house, I'll go to my sister's house. So maybe the fact that we have a lot of options now, and some people are just babysitting us, that man, I'm CA, and we're growing, and the behavior becomes a character. And once it's a character, it becomes hard for you now to change me. You can't say, see my drugs, and I'll just leave them like it's an option.
It's
now it's something that is part of me. Yeah, I can't just walk out and say, "Oh, I'm done." It's something I've been doing since I was in grade 5, and now I'm 25. So even if I want to, I can't now. So we need to make sure from the young age we deal with those kids the way we were dealt with. Because in India, even asira amayangu, I'll go and tell my mom, I saw this guy, he lives for number 52 chagat, and he's doing drugs. And the mother will go and tell the mother of that guy. So discipline was, grooming of children was done it was societal. Now it's per household. What I say in this house is different from what they say in this house. So the child can do what they want because her mother or his mother decides. And they are not serious with the discipline issues.
Thank you so much for bringing out that. You mentioned social factors, right? Tanaka, could it be any other factors?
I think one of the things is what's that saying which says is it idle mind is a devil's workshop. I also think gives us so much time to be easily exposed to unnecessary things. Yeah, Shanda. And when I'm saying Shanda, I'm not saying, oh, it's salary. Shanda kwa kawanda. Why is it kada nukumba kwenyu arisibo uripo? You get what I'm trying to say? Why is it imbairi upside down uripo? Why is it the divani matrousers akaboka? Uripo. You should make sure that your hands are always you should make sure your hands are doing something. You get what I'm trying to say? Because it helps us when we work. Our minds are concentrated towards something else. The Bible says, flee away from sin. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's the moment you see it, don't stand and say, "I chachindi bate." I dibo. Uchitochuona chitongoya. Kana watiza. You get what I'm trying to say? And kutiza kwacho sometimes in our respects is doing these things. Like for instance, Sunday to your choir. You don't know about Kuchauya, a friend of yours who's going to suggest something, and then you're going to be falling into it. So I think one of those things is let's always make sure as youthful people, we still have the energy, we still have the talents. The church needs people to work. Our homes needs people to work. Our communities need people to work. Let's put effort in where effort is supposed to be done.
There we have it. Yes.
I would like to add on as well. I think Kushanda, it's not limited to what Tanaka was saying as well. You can work on your dreams. You can work on your hobbies. Like if you are a karate person, go train karate. Go to tournaments. I was going to my tournaments. You are finding something to do so that you don't indulge in such things. If you if you are a musical person, yes, you have mastered your vocals. Go for piano lessons. Go for guitar lessons. Go for violin lessons. You get it. Like working on your hobbies as well. It gives you the euphoria to do things you love and things that are good for you. And then you don't indulge in such activities. If you keep your mind busy, especially with things that you love and things that are productive, you're good to go.
I can see that here we are bringing light to say that we can overcome. There are people who are living a drug-free life. By that I mean you're not abusing drugs, you're living a healthy life. I mean, God loves us, to give us life in abundance. You can imagine a life, you are free, you are not addicted to something, you are doing your hobbies. Look at Tanaka, look at them, glowing out there. So there's hope. So ultimately, in the end, I think we're wrapping up. Do we have something to say to someone who is into drugs, addicted, they want to be free? What can they do? What are we saying to those who have never indulged in drugs? What are we saying to them? Words of hope, I can say.
I think those who are into drugs, I would like to say there's life after, and there's a free life after.
Yes.
What they have to do is to take each day at a time and know that the process to recovery, it's long, it's painful, but it can happen. There are rehab centers where they can go, but the most important thing for them is to take them out of the triggers that make them to take those drugs.
Exactly.
If it's depression, we have to find what's depressing them and find a solution to that. Yes, and as family, get around the person who is an addict, let's be supportive and tisiane ne stigma and throwing them back to their past. Like Tanaka, he's trying to move, and pese pa anongoita something wrong kumba, so zwanzi anongoita my drugs, and yet he's trying to move away from that. So a family takes a pivotal role. Society takes a pivotal role. We should be able to give those people second chances. If someone has reformed and unika slow kibasa karoti, try them and see. Yeah, in those versatile tourama drugs, let's try by all means to stay like that. There's nothing cool about it.
Okay, I wanted to say, they say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yes.
So it's you deciding to just take one step, maybe go to a rehab, maybe start doing something that drives your mind away from taking drugs, will get you to places. So it just starts with maybe a day of not doing marijuana, maybe an hour, maybe a minute. It counts. A little step or a little achievement is something that we have to count for. So just by taking one step into leaving whatever they are doing will be enough. And also, when Tanaka said an idle mind is a devil's workshop, even if you're already in it, you can still keep your mind busy with other things and not let your mind be idle for a long time. because as long as it is empty, it's going to be filled with something. So you have to keep your mind with positive things that are going to make you draw away from taking drugs. And like Tanaka has said, we, the people that are looking at, that are seeing people that are taking drugs, don't have to blame them for them. Some of them didn't choose to do that. So you have to be supportive in every way we can and make sure that they leave whatever they are doing. And to people that have not taken drugs, they say what you feed your mind is what you do. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So we have to be really mindful of the things that we see, the things that we read, the things that we love. We might love watching movies that have a lot of guns, a lot of drugs, and it gets into our mind. And when something comes, we will not flee from it because it's something we are used to seeing. So we really need to be mindful of what we see, what we spend our days doing, so that when it comes to us, it's not a challenge. It becomes something that you can just skip because you already know it's wrong. And we have to be a good example to others. People have to look up to us and say, "Ningi haite drugs, but akadai," so that we have to do good, so that others can look up to us and say, "If he did this, I will also do it."
My points are: one, for those that are doing drugs, yes, Jesus loves you.
Yes.
The world might not care about you, but Jesus does love you. So it's the first call that you have to understand, that there's someone that loves me and prizes my life. That's the reason why he died for you. So your life means something. Don't throw it away. Right? Second thing is, for those that don't do drugs, be your brother's keeper. Right? I love the Bible. It says, love thy neighbor as thyself. If you don't want to see yourself Ujiraram Road, the whole day, if you don't want to see that on yourself, why do you want your sister to do that? Why do you want to see your brother do that? So therefore, it becomes your obligation to make sure that Tanaka doesn't do it. So I have to stick there with you. The other thing is, I think Solomon says, talking about your friends, very important. Choose your company well. Don't just play with everyone. You know, people take you off rails, nabasaris. You get what I'm trying to say? Tunotsurana. Kosha, how fun my exams? And some funnies. Game road. You get what I'm trying to say? Yes, to no boy, do masabat. Yeah, maybe to but there are certain things that are good about us, because to not zoran.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? We're here as youth. And that's what we could have been doing other things outside, but we're here, we're doing the things. And it limits those things where the devil has a chance to attack us. So keep those things in notion. So let's read the Bible. But also I want to come back to our parents and say, a child is raised by a village.
Yes.
And I remember when I was a child, I grew up in Meberrain. Even if my mother was there, ndrukuma shops, ndakabatwa chete ikoko. Ndokuti kabadi gege. Ndakabatwa ndiri uko. Ndakonotanga kuro kubva shops. By the time I get home, nendabo. You get what I'm trying to say? So we had it was a big community that saved us. So I'm also coming to our parents to say, parents, this notion of you saying, I didn't discipline mwana wangu chete. Oh. Munhu wese anodisciplina mwana.
Because kana abanobira community ese.
Anobira community ese, exactly. So parents also should be aware of that. And two, parents, I understand life is difficult. We're working hard to make sure that we provide the best of the best for our kids. But there's nothing called the best if all that thing is drained down by drugs. So let's pay attention to our kids.
All right. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share your experience in the comment section. We want to know as well. This is it from us. Thank you so much, the panelists. Enjoy the rest of your day.
If it's conservative,
If you're looking for something liberal
and realistic, this is the place to be.